So I was reading this article right here on Car Scoops, and it was basically showing another prime example of all these guys who spent all this extra money on these last call cars, how they're getting burnt left and right, literally within 2 years of buying these vehicles, sitting on for 2 years, and thinking they're gonna make all this extra hundreds of thousands of dollars over sticker for these cars. And in turn, a lot of these guys are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars wiped out of their bank accounts for this investment that just never was. So I want to talk about this article in this video and just show you guys that when going forward, when these Hemi cars come back out, please, for the love of God, do not spend over sticker for any one of these cars to save yourself the embarrassment of getting burnt over and over again. So we're going to talk about that in this video right now. Okay, I'm over 51,000 friends, and the 56% of you guys who watch these videos over and over again and haven't hit the subscribe button. Let's get right into this, because I showed this video, well, I actually made a video a few weeks ago where I covered this particular car right here, this Demon 170. Someone paid $234,000 for this particular vehicle. They only had 13 miles on the odometer. So basically, they towed it home from the dealership, sat on for 2 years, and they just lost a ton of money on this particular car. And you know, if you go and look at it and stuff, I actually made a video about it. I'll put the video right up in the corner. And basically, they bought the car for $234,000, 13 miles, like I said, and sold it for just $139,000. That is a lot of money. That is almost $100,000 they person lost for trying to believe that this car right here was gonna go to the moon. Because I've seen people, when D170 first came out and there was in these D170 Facebook groups and stuff, you had guys in there talking about, oh, these cars can be like worth $500,000 easily, $1 million in about 5 years or whatever, right? And it was like, I'm going like, dudes, what is y'all talking about? Man, like the 2018 Demon is the perfect example of how every single one of these guys was wrong trying to talk about this car be worth $500,000. If you look at the sales data for 2018 Demon, nobody doubled or tripled the money on them daggone cars. If you didn't basically sell that car early, you was not going to go do that. Which takes us into this article right here. Delivery mileage Hellcat jailbreak was parked to flip for profit and got burnt hard. Now, a 34-mile 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat wide-body jailbreak just sold for thousands under the sticker price. This is just a sticker price that was on the winter sticker when this vehicle actually sold. So we have no idea how much money this person actually paid before this auction actually happened and stuff. But I know I've seen from people that they try to sell these, this is actually a manual car. If you go look down here, let's see, this 2023 Dodge Challenger Hellcat jailbreak had a factory MSRP of $97,026. The buyer paid well below MSRP despite it being manual and a fully optioned wide body trim. So this right here, like I said, was one of these rare wide body 6-speed cars. They only made a couple dozen of these cars. And I remember seeing like dealers trying to sell these suckers over sticker. I remember seeing like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand over sticker for some of these cars. And then guys turn around, buy this car and immediately put it up for sale. Where I seen, if I could find the listing, but I could have sworn I remember seeing the listing. Somebody did this whole detailed list of stuff on this car for like, I think it was like a green 2023 Hellcat jailbreak that was manual. I think someone listed the car for like $200,000. They think they're going to get, because I think it was like maybe like a 1 of 13 spec or 1 of 5 spec, some crap like that, for this actual Hellcat with a stick shift on it. And like I said, I just seen these crazy posts of these daggone cars. Now this particular car right here, like I said, had a MSRP of $97,026, pretty much fully loaded. And how much did the car sell for? Unfortunately, this specific Challenger sold for just over $87,000. Whew. Another Challenger traded hands for $64,000, despite an MSRP of $81,558 and fewer than 1,000 miles on the odometer. One could say the lesson here is clear: patience pays off. Those who are willing to wait for a little bit longer for a car can reasonably be confident they'll save big bucks in the end. So the people who waited to buy these cars, they are cashing out and saving tons of money. The guys who bought these cars maybe paid over for these cars, and was sitting and actually trying to think they're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars over sticker for them, all these guys are losing out stuff, right? It's crazy the amount of stuff that's going on. And this right here was another full loaded car, and this right is another sunroof car. Like, why are these guys putting sunroofs on these daggone cars? Like, I just don't get it. Thinking they're going to basically, oh, since it checks every box having every single option on there, it's going to sell for a lot more money, whatever. But I mean, it's just crazy why these guys are doing this. But I mean, just like I was saying, man, if you are buying these cars to sit on them, don't do it. Especially when new ones come out, stop doing this crap, man. Because you like, it gets to the point to where a lot of cars are taken out of hands of people who actually drive them and would actually enjoy them. And like, just with D170, for example, I know majority of these guys who bought the D170s, they bought them to flip it, thinking from this crazy nonsense these salesmen were telling them they car gonna be $500,000, they're gonna be $1 million. I've seen so many posts of people talking about these cars gonna be worth $500,000. I gladly paid $100,000 over for my car and stuff. It was some dude I remember. I think he was from freaking I think he was from like Vegas or some crap like that. He gladly paid $100,000 over for both his D170s. So this guy that spent like $400-500 on two D170s and stuff. And I'm going like, oh my goodness, dude. Like, really? But I mean, hey, if you got the money, spend it. But if you're the type of person where, you know, you think you'll get an investment out of these, stop doing it. Don't do it. When these new cars come out, because we all know HEMIs are coming back for pretty much all the models. SRT gonna bring out some crazy new models and stuff. Please don't spend over sticker for these cars. If you're living in one of these crazy, well, hell, I can't say that those California states and you know, CARB, California and all that crap, all these states that have all these CARB rules and stuff, those particular dealers, unless something changed, they're not getting any of the SRT products and stuff. So we're gonna have all these great high horsepower cars and only half the country is gonna be fighting over them, right? So you ain't worry about all these rich people from California or Pennsylvania and some of these other freaking states like New York and stuff trying to throw all that big money at these cars. Oh, look, I'm gonna throw extra $50,000 at the car to go get it and stuff. They're not even gonna be in the picture and stuff because they can't legally register in their states. Because if you watch this video right here, I showed you guys that, yeah, the Durango Hellcat is gonna be banned in all the states and stuff. So there is a prime example of these new vehicles coming out, gonna have 392s and Hellcats. Those guys aren't gonna be able to buy them suckers. And then if you watch this video right here, those guys who are, you know, thinking that they're gonna get a TRX and stuff, and these other vehicles gonna be coming out in the future, I tell you guys right there, it's probably gonna be the same exact thing. Those vehicles are basically gonna be banned by CARB states. But now I don't really think they're banned by CARB states. I just think that Stellantis want to pay basically the extortion that they're having to pay to get these vehicles certified for California and other states and stuff, right? Because I mean, as far as I know, you can still buy a Raptor R in California and those other CARB states and stuff. You can still buy V8 Mustangs and crap, but I don't think that Stellantis want to pay California all this extra nonsense to go and actually have these vehicles in those states and stuff. I think what Stellantis might do is they're gonna basically throw the Hurricane engines for those particular states and force those guys to buy those particular vehicles and stuff. And then everybody else, us who live in these southern states, we're all gonna buy SRT powered HEMI projects or cars and stuff. So I just want to say that, yeah, when these HEMI powered vehicles come out, do not pay the markup and stuff. Go and find you another dealer and crap. Like, I don't see Stellantis gonna basically do the same thing of basically make these vehicles very limited, because there's no more fines and cafe and all that other nonsense, right? So if all this nonsense out of the way, they ain't gonna worry about limiting certain model stuff because they're gonna be such a detriment to like their cafe fines and the fleet average and all that crap. I don't see a lot of vehicles being limited like they used to and stuff. So I see your point that we're gonna have it to where we're gonna have a lot more performance models and stuff, basically just built to order. And I think we're having a point where we won't see this markup nonsense because half the dealers in the country are basically done, eliminated. They're not gonna get these models and stuff. So again, please do not pay markup on these cars. From my indication from, cause I actually did an interview with Matt McAleer and stuff, from what he was saying that there's nothing really gonna be excluded or limited or stuff like that in the near future other than those jailbreak models stuff, only because of the limitation of being able to one-on-one paint colors, certain vehicles like that. But other than that, I don't really see really any of these other vehicles is going to be basically limited or hard to get, anything like that. It's going to be hard to get for people who live in those other carb states. So like I said, this is just a friendly reminder. Stop paying markup on these cars. Stop setting yourself up to where if you sit on these cars for months and months and years, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get burnt. Put your money invested in better things, more surefire things. Don't buy these daggone cars and then get burnt by the Hemi's going away again. Because you know, from what I've been, you know, digging around the background and stuff, we're going to see a lot more Hemi powered vehicle stuff. We already got the Jeep CEO talking about they're putting Hemis back and stuff. We already know Dodge is hinting that they're going to put the Hemi in stuff. And we already know that the madman Tim Kaniskis, my dear friend, is going to put the Hemi in a lot of stuff too. And he's over all the performance cars in North America. So you're going to start seeing TRXs coming back, a Charger with a Hemi in there. You might see a Trackhawk. You might see a Hellcat Wagoneer and stuff. So there's going to be plenty of Hemis to go around. Just don't get to the point of where you feel as though you have that fear of missing out and you got to pay over sticker for these cars. As I said in other videos from the past couple months since Roka Nights, save your money, stack your bread, because there are going to be so many different models coming out and stuff. I haven't said anything about the Viper, right? The new Viper Corvette killer and stuff coming out and stuff. So save your money. You got about a good year, maybe 2 years before anything that's really good comes along that you're going to basically be thanking me later that you save all this extra cash to go throw at one of these vehicles and stuff. And hopefully, because all the cafe fines are nil back to zero and stuff, the carb stuff is nil back to zero and stuff, that we're going to have basically across the board a price reduction on these performance cars. Because as I said in other videos, these manufacturers had to jack the prices up because these cars are basically so fine and stuff. They had to build, I guess, you know, build into the price the actual fines in order to actually sell that vehicle at a profit and stuff. So I'm hoping that with no cafe fines, no carb fines and stuff, that the base price of a lot of these vehicles going to come down, just like Dodge did when they actually showed us how they're going to price the Charger Daytona and those 6-pack cars. They're literally $10,000 to $15,000 cheaper than their Mustang counterpart and stuff. So hopefully, I'm hoping that even with the Hemi cars coming back to 5.7 392s, since they are inferior to the Hurricane power cars, those cars should technically be even a little bit more cheaper and stuff than the Hurricane power versions. But we'll find about that at another time. But like I said again, for the 44th time, please do not pay markups on these cars. There are going to be plenty of cars to go around and plenty of cars to actually pick and choose from. And as I said, save your money. You're going to need the money for all the fun stuff coming out, especially some of these fun cars that's coming out that I've talked about in my previous videos. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. Was Last Call a great scam for dealers to get you to pay over sticker for these cars? Because they knew they were going to an era where these electric cars and the Hurricane cars, they were not getting people to spend over sticker for these stupid cars and stuff. And so was Last Call basically their last scam before the beginning of the end and stuff? Would these Hemi cars come back cheaper than what they were before? And do you guys think you're going to be seeing a lot more markups because these dealers got to make up for all the money they lost? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section down below. If you want to find out about that brand new Viper project that is coming, because I've talked to my dear friend and Matt McAleer and other people within Stellantis and stuff, and I found out about a very cool prototype that they are building. And check out this video right here to find out all about it. And until the next time, I am out.